So I had one question on, this is just a short one, just a thought that I had recently on the relationship between negative self-image and autoimmunity. I had an interesting thought recently that I'd like to hear your view on. When someone has a negative self-image, in a way, they are constantly attacking and hurting themselves on a consciousness level. It's basically a consciousness having a negative and destructive relationship with itself. And then I realized that autoimmunity, in the biological sense, is basically the same thing, but on a physical or biological level, and perhaps might be a physical representation of what's going on in the non-physical domain. Do you think there's any validity to this idea? It's probably a bit simplistic, but I still found it an interesting thought, and I was just curious what you think about it.
That's the first time I'd thought about it, and I also found it an interesting thought and think that, yes, it probably has a lot of validity. Often the things in the mind space manifest in physical space. So, yes, I think it probably has a lot of validity. It would be interesting to see whether people who have autoimmune diseases tend to be more depressed, say, than people who don't have them. That would be the way to check that and see whether there's a correlation there.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. You could actually set up an experiment where you take like psychological tests that measure sort of the quality of self-image and see if there's a correlation between autoimmunity.
Well, you could do that just with data. You could see the people who were taking pills for depression,
Oh yeah.
who were depressed enough to at least have medication for it, and look at how many of those also had immune diseases. And then you can take people who do not have any depression. I'm not sure finding that would be more difficult, finding people who were not depressed, because just because you're not taking medicine doesn't mean you're not depressed. Uh, but
Well, I already know there's a correlation between that, like autoimmunity and depression, but then the question arises, what's the correlation, right? Is the depression a result of the physical illness, or is the physical illness a result of the depression? So that becomes the hard thing to disentangle.
I expect the the physical, let's just wrap them all together and say that the physical dysfunctionality is probably caused by the consciousness dysfunctionality. Consciousness leads, body follows. That's just the general way things work.
I and MBT Events hope you liked this video. We will continue to post videos for free on my YouTube channel, but please understand, these videos are expensive to produce. They represent many thousands of hours of production and editing, as well as all the necessary audiovisual equipment, computers, and software. If you find something of significant value in our videos, please consider supporting their production through our Patreon account or through a one-time donation. It would be very much appreciated. The links are in the description below. Thank you.